What up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your guy, Hit the keys. Here today to do a quick review and demonstration over Wave's Magma strip. And we got another open verse challenge. So stick with me to get the details on that. Make sure if you guys do like the content though, you drop a whole elbow on that like button, hit subscribe and that notification bell. So every time we bring you guys a new video, you can be the first to see. But with no further delay, let's get right into this Magma strip, baby. Hit the key. All right, guys, so as many of you already know, Waves dropped a couple of plugins over Black Friday and Cyber Monday. They dropped the Magma little tubes and they dropped the Magma BB tubes. Well, in typical Waves fashion, now we got the Magma channel strip. So when you open up the Magma channel strip, it is going to look like this. It's got a similar GUI as the Magma BB tubes as far as the color and aesthetic. But when you look here, it's just got a few controls. So it's got your drive knob right here. It's got a high pass filter you can turn on or you can turn off, and you can make that tilt go at 60 or 110 hertz. Down here, you have an EQ. So it's just a 3-band EQ. You get high, you get mid, and you get bass. With the mid, it looks like it goes from 100 hertz all the way up to 5,000 kilohertz. So that's pretty cool. You can dial in the sound. You have this expand down here. So this is basically a gating tool, which it works great. And I'll show you why it works great here in a little bit. And then you have a compressor right here. Now you get different options for the compressor. You can just have the compressor run normal, or you can have the compressor just smash the sound. And then over here, you have your output, and you also have a VU meter. All right, guys, so I made a little sample beat, but it's not mixed down like always. I'm not gonna lie, I used the Waves Magma strip on everything. I used it on a vocal chop. I rapped a verse and used it on that. I used it on some drums. I used it on the 808. I used it on the piano. I used it on the guitar. I literally used it on everything in the beat. So when we look here at the beat, I am gonna let this go all the way to about right here because I rapped a verse on this. So I'm gonna have an open verse challenge on this for whoever wants to be on the second verse. If you are interested, I'm gonna be taking submissions all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on February 14th. So that is Valentine's Day. I will leave the link to where you can download the instrumental, and you will have to submit it to SumnSumnSumnHTK@gmail.com. I will accept waves, I will accept videos, whatever it is that you guys want to send. I want to showcase a few different people. So, you know, the more videos, the more stuff we get, the more people showcased. But let's go ahead and get back down to the sample beat and get back down the Waves Magma strip. So let's go.
Calling me Shannon, I be on sharp. These rappers overrated, Keon Clark, blue chipper like Shaq. Neon's part, I'm ice cold on these hoes, free on hard, and when it's over, wouldn't pee on sparks. It's fishy now, cause even minnows trying to feed on sharks. He like Jamal Crawford off the bench, he don't start. Your girl stay on the D like Jordan Key on Starks. Every day still stacking the dough. I've been grinding since I was back in the O. Had to switch it up and put the trapping on hold. Best thing I ever did was put the rap in control. I used to feel like me in the streets was close, but lately feeling like me in the streets on ghost. Cause I be in the studio with beats and flows, and since they made it legal, got to keep on roast. Yeah.
All right, guys, so that's the little sample beat that I put together for you guys today. I know I'm over here clowning, having a good time, but let's go ahead and hop back in the Magma channel strip here. So let's go ahead and pull this bad boy back up. So as we pull this thing back up, I'm gonna just start right out on the piano like I normally do. So I threw this thing on a piano, and this is what the piano sounded like before I threw the Magma channel strip on there. All right, so now once we throw it back on there, it sounds like this. So you can see clear as day, it boosted it so much. One thing that I would like from you guys, Waves, is can we get a bypass button so when we do these demonstrations, we can make it easier? So when you look over here, I didn't pull up any kind of like visual analyzer or graph or anything like that to check the sound. We're just gonna look on the dB levels. It's just the easiest way for me on this demonstration. So as we look here, initially before I turn it on, look over here at the dB level. So now once I turn it back on, so it's not just giving it gain. I know a lot of time that's the argument when you get plugins like this. So let's go ahead and take a little more in-depth look here at this channel strip. So here as we're looking at it, you know, you get drive here. So you get more of a clean drive here to a distorted drive over here. So if I was to drive this signal a little more, and notice again how it's not just amplifying the volume. So that's a nice thing as well. Then you have EQ here as well. You can mess with these bands. So then over here again, you have from 100 Hertz to all the way up to 500 kilohertz. So you can control that as well. And then underneath that, you have bass here as well. Obviously, it's gonna, you know, it's gonna increase the low end. Yo, I want you to notice too, as I increase that bass, you can actually kind of hear the key hits. So listen to how I brought that out. I don't know, just emphasize those key notes a little more, which is pretty cool. Down here, we have expanding gate. So basically you just have this gate feature where you can gate the sound. So this gating feature works very well on drums though, and I'll show you that here a little bit more here in the future. And I'll show you this compression on Smash here in a little bit just as well. So that's one thing that I ended up using it on. I also used it on these vocal chops from Arcade, and I really liked what it did with these vocal chops from Arcade. So if you listen to these vocal chops, now once I threw the Magma strip on there, I'll go from it being off and then I'll turn the Magma strip on. So with that, it really brought it out. On that one, it did boost the volume a little bit because of the way I turned the compression on and the way I just drove everything, but I was fine with that. I mean, that's the way that I intentionally drove it. So let's go ahead and mute everything so that you can just hear what it's doing to the vocal. So what it did was it boosted that signal and it put a little bit of distortion through that drive on the vocals. And for me, it makes that vocal stand out more in the beat. So it sounds a little rough when you're listening to it by itself, but when you're listening to it in the beat, it sounds great, you know? So if I was just to turn this up the volume match, it's still not gonna be the same. So if you're listening right there, it's not standing out as much in the mix, but the volume was just about the same. So you can hear it just helps it sit in the mix a little bit better. So another thing that I used it on for sure was definitely this drum bus. So I used a little different kick that I normally use. I always use similar sounds in these demonstrations just so that you guys are familiar with the sounds, because it's like, you know, it's not my goal to trick anybody. I want you guys to get an honest opinion on whatever it is that I'm demonstrating. I'm not here to sell anything. I'm just here to give you a demonstration. So a lot of times I use the same sounds because you'll understand, oh, okay, well, I know what the kick he typically uses, that distortion made it sound like this, where other distortions or whatever it would make it sound like this. So that's kind of why I go the way that I go too as well. But let's go ahead and listen to these drums. So these are what the drums sounded like before I put the Magma channel strip on there. Now, once I threw it on there, and keep in mind, look at the volume over here. So, I mean, fam, I mean, you can hear clear as day. It's doing its job. So with this, now what's cool about this, what I was saying about the gating feature is on the snare drum that I'm using, it's got like this tail end, which gives it like this little crackle noise. So if you're listening, so it's that little whoosh, whoosh. Now I can turn this gating on. Like, let's say I get a sound that I don't know how to fix or something like that, and I want to get some of that off there. I can take that off with this gating really easily. So you hear just like that, it's kind of cleaned up the tail end of all those drums. It's got rid of all that other stuff, and it would make room for anything else if you wanted it in the beat. I'm personally gonna leave it how I had it because I like that crackling noise in there, but the gate feature does help with that. And again, you can just really get some crunchy drums and really boost the signal with this thing. Now, the reason why I can do that is because I have this smash feature on. With the smash feature off, I have a clipper on, so it's not gonna clip. So you're gonna see how loud it's gonna be over here, but I have a clipper on, so you're not gonna see. But if I turn that smash feature off, so you see where it's coming at over here. So basically the compression is just smashing the crap out of those drums so that we can get them to beat through as much as possible. So I'm gonna push play and I'm gonna turn smash on for you and just pay attention to this meter over here. And I want you to pay attention to the perceived loudness of that too, because when you're listening to it, it doesn't even sound like once I put the smash on there, like it's that much lower in volume. So, you know, it's just something to think about as well. And then another thing I used it on was this 808. So with the 808 basically sounded like this. All right, so then once I threw the channel strip on there, I got it to sound like this. And you'll notice it sounds like it's beefier, but then over here, look at the loudness again, it was at 15. So it's just adding so much more girth to it. I also used it over here on this electric guitar. So I didn't use it for the distortion for the guitar, but the guitar sounded like this initially. And then once I threw that channel strip on there, I got it to sound like this. So you can see I basically just drived it. I drove it a lot. I added some high end frequency. I added a little bit of mids. I took out the bass. Then I smashed it, and then I gated it a little bit to take off some of the extra artifacts in there. And then the last thing that I used it on in this beat was actually just this vocal. And so I'm gonna let you hear what it did to the vocal because you'll be able to hear it. Just made it a little more present in the beat, which is obviously always a good thing. So let's go ahead and come back over here. So on this vocal, I only used it on a send. So I sent it to the same send as I sent fresh air to. So I'm just gonna go ahead and push play. I'm gonna turn it off, and then I'm going to turn it on. You hear the difference when I turn it on because it'll make the vocal so much more present in the beat, and I'll turn it on and I'll turn it off a few times just so you can hear the difference.
Calling me Shannon, I be on sharp. These rappers overrated, Keon Clark, blue chipper like Shaq. Neon's part, I'm ice cold on these hoes, free on hard, and when it's over, I wouldn't pee on sparks. It's fishy now, cause even minnows trying to feed on sharks. He like Jamal Crawford off the bench, he don't start. Your girl stay on the D like Jordan Key on stars. Every day still stacking the dough. I've been grinding since I was back in the O. Had to switch it up and put the trapping on hold. Best thing I ever did was put the rap in control. I used to...
All right, so you can hear there, if you're really listening, that what it did was it made the vocals more present every single time in the beat. So it just brought them out, and every single time you push play, it just made it just a little bit louder, and it made it cut through the mix just a little bit more. So that's basically what I got for you guys today. If you are interested in getting into the open verse challenge, this isn't the final mix of the song. All the information will be below in the description. You know, if you're interested in the plugin, I will also leave a link for that in the description below as well. Make sure if you guys do like this content though, you drop a whole elbow on that like button, hit subscribe and that notification bell so every time we bring you guys a new video, you can be the first to see. Appreciate you guys' time as always, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Some, hit the key.